Hey, I'm Doug. Welcome back to Backcountry Pilgrim, a channel devoted to camping, hiking, and backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. If you're into that stuff, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification so I can let you know the next time a video drops. Today I'm doing part 2 of what I am wearing this winter. This time I'm going to look at the lower half. In my last video, I talked about what I was going to be wearing this winter, and I was talking about the top layers. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what's going to be going on downstairs. So just to keep things from getting awkward, I'm not going to be modeling these things for you, but I have brought all of my gear here for you to have a look at. Now, before we get into it, I do want to issue one disclaimer. This is not a video on the most fantastic winter gear in existence. I'm just showing you what I'm going to be rocking this winter. I'm not really dealing with many things made with the super materials, really high-tech blends that you see with like Patagonia and Arc'teryx. I just don't believe in spending $150 on a shirt. I am 100% comfortable in everything that I have behind me here. So for me to spend 4 or 5 times as much money per piece of clothing just to eke a little bit more comfort out has not been worth it. Maybe next year I'll change my mind, but for now, I am basically just going with the stuff that's made of the standard polyester nylon blends. They're affordable and they do the job. Further, I'm not a big snow backpacker. In case you don't know, I live in California. I'm not up in the Great White North. I don't live in the Rocky Mountains. And so although I can fairly quickly get to the highest elevations in the lower 48, and I have the mighty Sierra Nevada practically in my backyard, I am not usually out in 0-degree weather. If I was going to be out spending a lot of time just kind of hanging out in the snow or sleeping overnight in a frozen tundra, I would be bringing warmer clothes than this. This is what I'm actually hiking in. Now, I'm a fairly warm hiker. I don't tend to take a whole lot with me, even when it's fairly cold outside. So just keep all that in mind as I talk about what I'm wearing. These are the layers that work for me, but they can be easily modified to bring the warmth level up if you need them. Following the lead of some other hikers that I have watched on YouTube or know, I decided to try out hiking tights. These are Under Armour. They basically go like mid-calf on me. And what I like about these is that, number one, they're extremely thin. They're even thinner than like your ex officio underwear. And what's great about these is that because of the way they ride, they basically eliminate chafing. And to be honest, although I am a huge fan of the ex officio briefs, I have pretty much swapped over to the hiking tights. They just worked out really well because they were breathable, you didn't chafe, they dried out pretty quickly, and they kept me from overheating, which, believe it or not, can still happen in California, even when you're climbing in the snow. Now, hiking tights are basically like a second really thin skin. There's very little insulating power in them, especially once they wick your sweat away and you're drying out. So what I do have is a second pair of long underwear. These particular ones are made by ThermaJohn, and they are 92% polyester, 8% spandex. This is a fleece-lined long underwear. They're good for keeping the chafing down. They are extremely soft and comfortable, and these are actually quite a bit warmer than something like the Under Armour hiking tights. So this is something that I might put on if I know that I'm going to be actually like in snow, being snowed on, and I really want my base layer to increase my warmth and not just keep me dry and keep me from chafing. Finally, for the base layer, if I'm going to be hiking in the cold and I think that I might be walking through snow or maybe even still getting my feet wet, I am a big fan of the Randy Sun waterproof socks. Now, I know this is not a popular choice among hikers, but I have been extremely impressed with these socks. I did an entire video on them, so you can check that out. But suffice to say that these actually work. The interior is a merino wool, which is like one of the super fabrics out in the backpacking community. Merino wool pretty much has it all, except that it is not very durable and it's very expensive. Now, what Randy Sun does is they mix merino wool in with other fibers to alleviate the problem of durability. This is the same thing that Darn Tough in Vermont does. On the outside, you have a nice soft nylon layer, but what makes them waterproof is that in between you have a polyurethane coated layer that keeps the water out. And I have literally stood in water with these socks on, got out, feet are 100% dry. Now I know you're gonna say, but they aren't breathable. I took these on a hike in the dead of summer, went 5 miles up and down the hills out in California at low elevation, hot sun, and my feet felt just as good in these as they did in my Darn Toughs, and they cost about the same. Just for running around on a day hike or something, these plus a pair of trail runners have been extremely effective and extremely comfortable. Alright, so once my downstairs base layer is taken care of, it's time to put something over it so I'm not just walking around in my underwear. Like I said, I'm a fairly warm hiker, so I don't really want layer upon layer upon layer piled on top of me if I can avoid it. And so often what I'll do next is actually just throw on my standard pair of REI shorts. These are very lightweight and quick dry, and so by just putting these over my long underwear, I've effectively turned shorts into pants without adding a lot of extra layers of warmth that's going to make me sweat. But because we're talking about winter hiking, on top of my hiking tights, long underwear, and short combo, I'm going to be throwing on a shell. Specifically a waterproof shell, such as these Marmot PreCip water pants. If you have shopped rain jackets, you have probably heard of the Marmot PreCip. It's one of the most popular rain jackets out there. It kind of rides the fence between like your low-end Frog Togs, which I love by the way, and your more high-end jackets like the Marmot Minimalist or the Outdoor Research Foray, or the even higher end like the Arc'teryx brand. PreCip pants have been fantastic. They're lightweight, they've got a full array of pockets. The waist and the legs actually come undone so that you can very easily put these on over whatever you're already wearing. You're not committed to putting something on that is going to be like really difficult to take off if the sun comes out, or to put back on if it starts raining again. These are fairly lightweight, they're decently compactable, and for the money, they do a fantastic job of just keeping the major rain off. I mean, anything's going to soak out eventually, but this is going to get you around a day hike just fine, and they're not going to break the bank. Now, if conditions seem like they might get a little bit more intense and you want something that's going to be insulating, a little tougher, and something that's going to handle a bit more of a beating, I would consider looking at snow pants. These are my Columbia snow pants. They're made with Omni-Tech, which is basically Columbia's version of nylon and polyester. These are meant for like snowboarding, skiing. They can really take up quite a bit of abuse. They are also more insulated. Otherwise, a lot of the same features as the PreCip. They've got the tear-apart waist, they've got the full-length leg zippers, a nice mesh interior to keep you separate from the material. The PreCip do not have that, by the way. Zippered pockets, and one thing I really like about these is that they have gaiters built into the pants. Now, these don't have a strap. It's just an elastic and a snap that goes around your ankle. But what that does is give you an extra layer of protection that you can wrap around your boots, and then the pants go over the whole thing. And so if you step into snow and snow goes up inside the pants, they're going to stay on the outside of the gaiter, which will keep the snow from going right into your shoe, which is going to basically ruin your entire system. Now, these are not super lightweight, they are not super compactable, but if you are in the kind of conditions that warrant them, it's well worth it. For example, a couple of years ago, I climbed Yosemite Falls in these in February when there was so much snow and ice on the ground that a lot of people were turning around, but I basically climbed into a cloud bank. So we're talking freezing, snowy, icy conditions and basically 100% humidity. Because the road conditions were so bad, I actually got started very late, ended up coming out in the dark. And so even in the dark of night, frozen, icy, snowy conditions in Yosemite, I was completely fine just wearing these, even though I had other layers I could have changed out if I needed to. So again, for me, for my body condition, this system works out really well. Okay, so that is basically it for what I am going to be wearing this winter while hiking. This has been part 2. At the end of this video, I will put up a link to the top layers in case you're interested in that. If this video has helped you out at all, or if you just enjoyed it, I'd love it if you gave it a like. And again, remember to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification so you'll know the next time a video drops. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.